They look great. Look at this. They just come apart pretty easy. Look at that. Steam coming out. Looking good. Yeah. Is it just me, or is beef getting ultra expensive? I think it's everybody. I think everybody's feeling the rising costs with beef, so I'm trying to show you guys a way to make some delicious burnt ends without having to go buy an entire brisket. Went to my butcher, got myself 2 pounds of chuck roast, because we're going to be doing poor man's burnt ends. Welcome to my world, the poor life, because I like barbecue, and barbecue is expensive. It made me poor. My wife chews so loud, she just asked me if her chomping was going to be in the video,
No,
and she's
I
way
don't
over there.
chew that loud. I felt like it was loud.
Yeah. This isn't a too difficult of a recipe. We're gonna coat these in our seasoning, throw them in the pit, and then once they get up to a good temp, we'll cube them and then braise them in some sauce in a pan. Really simple. So first off, we're gonna start with a binder. We're gonna be using this Matt's Louisiana hot sauce. To be honest with you, the flavor's probably not gonna come through. Most binders you're not gonna taste. I just had this in the fridge, and if it does come through, awesome, because I like a little bit of heat. That little bit of kick adds a good amount of flavor. But really all this is for is just to get us able to get our seasonings to stick real well. So just slather everything on. Okay, now that we've got these all coated up and ready to go, we can add our seasonings. We're going to do a first coat of Blue Hog's Bold and Beefy. This essentially is just like dried beef tallow. It's got a nice sodium content, and it's going to make the beef flavor really pop out on this. So we're going to hit it with this, enhance that beef flavor, get some salt in. There's also some herbs in here that add some flavor. It'll be good. Don't forget to grab the sides. Feel free to use the seasoning that's in your pan. So yeah, get the sides real good. Okay, now our second seasoning we're going to come in with is Simply Marvelous Peppered Cow. This is also a pretty coarse seasoning, so this will help us obtain a good bark. And you want to be pretty generous with this. Get the sides. And when you do, if you're mixing seasonings like this, these rubs, that second seasoning, it's a little bit more important to pat it in to make sure that it gets good contact with that binder. And I had a bunch of seasoning chilling in this corner, so I'm just using it to snag the edges of this one. Just for fun, we'll do a little meat education. This is one of our chuck roasts. Can anybody tell me what the problem is? No? I'll tell you. See how we're real thin right here? What's going to end up happening is that's going to actually burn up in the cook, because we're going to be taking these to a pretty high temp. And it'll dry out, so it's not going to taste at all like the rest of this thicker stuff. So usually I would trim that off and stuff like that, but because we're going to be cubing these up, what I'll probably end up doing is we'll just take it off when we're cubing, and then I'll just throw it over to the dog. But just so you know, when people talk about trimming meat and all that kind of stuff in barbecue, this is the stuff that they're talking about, because it's not going to cook nearly the same as the rest of this real thick meat. So now you know what to do, and you need to trim meat. Or you could be like my dad and just leave it on, because he likes to eat burnt pieces of leather. It's all edible. Man, it's nice having this apron on. I can actually touch my clothes and not worry about it. My wife kept complaining about all my shirts being stained, so I had to get an apron. So shout out to this barbecue butler. We're going to let these sit for, 15 minutes. Let's let all the sodium penetrate the meat, sweat out some of those juices, get through the meat. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit while my Yoder preheats. We're going to run it at 225 degrees so we can catch a lot of smoke on these, so we can get a good bark on it. And then once it gets to about 160, 170, we'll probably take them out and wrap them and go from there. And I'll come get you when I'm about to wrap. Stay smoky, my timber friends. We're temping out internally in the 160 area. We can come in and take a look at where we're at. So we're gonna pull these guys. We're starting to get some good bark here. We're gonna pull them and we're gonna wrap them and get to that next step of this poor man burnt ends cook. Huh, bud? High five. Good job. Okay, welcome to the stage, Miss Love. Can you say hi to the camera?
Hi, camera.
Awesome. Okay, do you know what we're doing? It's like shaking the hand of Satan. It's so hot.
I could have put my finger right here.
Yeah, that's because those gloves are just too big for you, Lev. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap these. We're gonna add some fat, some moisture, just to keep things nice and numbers. So my lovely assistant here is gonna, hey, go ahead and get some of this stuff out with your hand. No, that hand. Yep, that's good. And now, wipe it on there. Wipe it on the meat. Perfect. Okay. It's like using a basting brush. Should we get a little bit more? I think we need to get a little bit more, huh, Lev?
Yeah.
We're adding this fat because we're going to put this back in the pit here at a higher temp while all of the muscle fibers and all that kind of stuff break down. And it's going to make it extra soft. What noise does a cow make?
41.
41. Yep, that's 41. That's the noise. Okay, so we're just going to get these nice and wrapped up. Huh, Lev? Hold it.
I did that.
Okay, so there's one down. We need to do one more. Yeah, Lev?
It's ready, no!
Is this fun? What's your favorite thing to eat for barbecue? Listen up, folks. This is straight from a 3-year-old's mouth what she likes to eat from barbecue. What's your favorite barbecue?
Not spicy, but I like sweet.
Okay, what kind of meat's your favorite? Do you like pork belly?
Pork belly.
Yeah, pork belly's yummy, huh? What about steak?
I love steak.
Here to here. Sweet but not spicy, pork belly or steak?
I love steak, I think.
Oh. Pro tip. If you're using paper to wrap, spray it with some liquid. This is our fancy spray bottle that we use. Is it raining? Whoops. Got me too.
Yeah.
It's our fancy spray bottle for our plants. So, Tilly Love, can you spray it for me? It's okay if it gets pretty wet. Kids like to do this part. But you spray the paper because it makes it more pliable and it won't roll on you and all that kind of stuff. That one wasn't as hot. Whew.
I still got actually this in my
Okay, get some, what's this called?
hello.
Yeah, put it on.
Hey, I know how to do that.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Does it look good?
Yeah.
Okay, what's that stuff called again?
Tallow.
Good job. What are we making?
Burdens.
Okay, we're all wrapped up, ready to go. Put it in the thingy, and we're good to go. Yeah, tallow high five.
Now they're wrapped back in the pit. We're going to turn the temperature up to 275 until it's pro tender.
You heard it. Put it back in the pit, turn to 275 until we're probe tender, and then we're gonna pull them out, cube them up, and let them braise in some barbecue sauce. Yeah? Okay, so I'll come get you when we're ready to cube up some burnt ends. Oh, welcome, Senor Timbers.
Say hi.
Yeah, family barbecue. Time to get off. We're all done. These guys right here, nicely wrapped, have gotten up to 200 degrees. I pulled them out of the pit. They were nice and tender, smooth like butter. And I let them cool down a little bit because it makes it a little bit easier to cube. But we're ready to cube these guys and then put them in this aluminum pan. And then we're going to do a little bit of braising and some Craig's barbecue sauce. We're going to sprinkle some of this John Henry's sugar maple rub on it. It's going to be numbers. So let's dig in. First off, we got to make sure that we glove up. Get nice clean hands is always good. My helpers aren't around to help me out because I guess Minnie Mouse is cooler than me. That was a sad moment. Minnie Mouse is cooler than Dad. Let's open these guys up. See where we're at. They're looking juicy. Ooh. Okay, here's where we're at. So at this point, we are ready to cube. So we're just making sure that we're just getting our correct sizes. I'm actually gonna chop this piece off right here. This was that thin piece I showed at the beginning of the video, just because it won't really make very good burnt ends. We want to do this like a good solid chunk like this, and then we'll just come across and make some solid bite-sized cubes. This should cut real easy, and then once you cube it up, dump it in the pan. Now we got those guys in. We're gonna deglove the right hand. Let's keep our bottles clean. We're nice and cubed up, ready to go. We're gonna come in through with this rub here. The reason why we're doing more rub is because we now have the opportunity to take advantage of having the meat exposed on all sides of the meat. With roasted meat, it's tough, right? Because you can only cover the seasoning on the outside. So all that meat on the inside tends to be a little bit more bland. But now, because we're doing these burnt ends and we're cubing things up, we have an opportunity to introduce even more flavor, even more seasoning on all sides of the meat. And so this rub here is a good one to use. Very sweet, a lot of sugar, and a lot of sweet notes. So what's going to happen is it's going to allow a lot of these burnt ends to caramelize. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come through with this Craig's barbecue sauce by Texas Pepper Jelly. And this is going to almost act as a braising effect. And we're going to make sure that we douse these real good and get everything nice and mixed together and nice and saucy. Add a little bit more. This is what it looks like. Just a nice healthy layer of sauce on all the sides. And then just for fun, I'm going to come through just to make sure we get everything coated really good with that seasoning. We're going to do a little bit of a taste test here with this little small guy. Yeah. These are going to be really good. We have a little bit of kick in there from the peppered cow. We have a really healthy beefy note in there from that beef seasoning that we put in. And then with this sweet stuff here, we definitely have a sweet note. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to cover this with foil. Now that that's all covered, we're going to just throw it back in here. Yeah, we're going to keep it at 275 and we're going to let this run for about just 20 to 30 minutes and just let all that sauce and all that sugar from this rub kind of intermingle together and glaze and braise together. And then we're going to have some number burnt ends to chow down on. See you soon. Okay, we got them all done. Beautiful, beautiful burnt ends. I made a mistake and I want to tell you how to not make this mistake. But I pulled it from, like before I wrapped, I pulled it a little bit too early. The bark hadn't set up all the way. I got a little impatient. I should have let it sit in the smoker a little bit longer for that bark to set up. So our bark on these aren't the greatest. However, these are still going to be awesome. We pulled them off. We let them braise in that barbecue sauce and all of its juices and stuff like that for about 45 minutes. So we're going to have some awesome burnt ends. And we're going to get into it. Man, I mean, look at it. Here we go. Look at, get in there, babe. They look great. Look at this. They just come apart pretty easy. Look at that. Steam coming out. Looking good. These aren't going to have as much intramuscular fat as brisket, traditional burnt end, but they're still going to be really good. Let's get in there and try one of these. They're going to probably be a little bit juicy, so I don't want to be chewing in y'all's ear, but let's go down the hatch. Man, that just goes away in your mouth. Man, these are good. Guys, mixing that peppered cow with that John Henry's sweet maple rub is great. Putting that barbecue sauce on really adds a really good sweet flavor. So you get a little bit of a kick spice with that sweet flavor. These are great. I think I paid like $20 for this 2-pound roast. And they make a really good side dish or an appetizer or something like that. They're great to have for the family today. We're going to be smoking, we're going to be eating these with some brats, me and my wife. I can't complain. You know, I didn't have to spend $80, $90 on a brisket. Instead, I spent 20 bucks on this and then cooked up some spare brats that I had in the freezer. So, guys, this is a great weekend appetizer snack for the family, or if you got a couple chuck roasts or something, you find them on sale, pick them up. Remember, buy local at your butcher. I got my chuck roast at my butcher. You're always going to get a better cut. Yeah. Yep, they're good. Yep. Like and comment this video if you want to see me do a comparison between this and like a traditional brisket burnt end. we'll run that. Because lots of times we often make these with months in between and we can't really tell them the biggest difference. So give it a like, give it a comment, let me know what you want to see. Oh yeah, we were good.